ESPN's coverage of college football, presented by Cars.com. All part of Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week. It's the ACC on ESPN, and it is a road test to start the season for number 7. UCLA has Pac-12 championship hopes, has national championship hopes, but they come to Charlottesville to take on Virginia to start the season. Again, everyone, I'm Bob Wischusen alongside Matt Millen. Quinn Kesnick will join us in just a moment. And Matt, there is renewed hope here in Charlottesville that they have a team that can compete, but most of the hope is on the far sideline. A UCLA team that A, thinks they might be able to win a title, and B, they think they might have a Heisman contender on their hands in Brett Hundley. And Brett Hundley seems to fit the bill in every piece that we talk about. And so what you're looking for today in Brett Hundley is his ability to have taken the next step. I'm anxious to watch him. You're anxious to watch him. Everybody is. Let's see if he can take that next step and carry this team where they want to get to. He closed last season playing about as well as you could possibly play. Over his last 6 games last year, 1 touchdown or 1 interception against 10 touchdown passes. And UCLA will start with the football as Virginia won the toss and elected to defer. So the Hoos will kick it off, and the Bruins will get their season underway at 9 a.m. Pacific time. We'll see how they react to what has to be an early start. And it'll come out on the touchback. So here comes the redshirt junior from Chandler, Arizona. Last season, led the Pac-12 in completion percentage. Played extraordinarily well down the stretch in their last 6 games, but in the crucible moments, at Stanford, at Oregon, did not play his best. And the spotlight was shining the brightest on him, Bob. And so, for me, what Brett Hundley has to be able to do is what every quarterback has to do, and that's improve his poise. Under pressure, his poise. And when that happens and that nexus is met, we'll see something good. And Hundley to the air to start the season. And he wants the deep ball. And he's got a man. Drops it in beautifully to Eldridge Massington. And the redshirt freshman all the way down inside the Virginia 30-yard line. That's a gain of 48. And that 48 comes because the protection is what it had to be. And it allowed Hundley to be able to step up. Watch him get beyond his pocket. And then on the backside, it's just bad coverage. Tim Harris, the sophomore cornerback, was the closest to Massington, but no one was that close. Here's Jordan James' first carry of the season. He gets shut down behind the line. Let's take a look at our impact players. And the pressure's going to be on this defense for Virginia. It is. And Eli Harold on the outside, and Anthony Harris is an All-American returning at safety. Jordan James is one of the guys that they have to have some kind of balance. It can't be all Brett Hundley. A drop on 2nd down and 10 by Logan Sweet. Now it's 3rd down and 10. And this actually gets the crowd back into the game. A moment ago, they were silenced by the deep ball. This is a big opportunity on this opening drive for the Virginia defense. Because the defense, Bob, is what's going to have to keep them in this game for as long as they can. This is the strength of this team is their defense. He's been bringing pressure every play. Here it comes again. Hundley well protected. Tipped ball, and that's incomplete. A flag thrown. Was it defensive holding? Was it pass interference? They're going to the spot. Where did it possibly relate in with the ball being tipped as well? If it's tipped and they're talking about it, that should come off.
There is no foul for pass interference. The ball was tipped by rule, no pass interference.
So the flag gets picked up.
4th down.
David Dean got a deflection, and that nullifies the flag, and it'll be a 45-yard field goal attempt. Dean's their best defensive lineman inside, and he's working against Redmond inside 51. He gets his hands up, and that's the difference in the play. Once that ball's tipped, no flags down the field. Here comes the field goal attempt. Kaimi Fairbairn, junior from Hawaii, from 45 yards out. No good. Talk about a momentum swing. Brett Hundley comes out. First play of the game, it's a deep ball. Silences the crowd. And then Virginia's defense stiffens. They get a stop. And UCLA comes away empty.
A big play by David Dean, the interior guy, just with that tip and getting pressure. Pressure, though, Bob, is going to be the key. John Tenuta, their defensive coordinator, in those 5-play series, he dialed up 4 pressures. So hold on to it today. He's bringing the heat.
Now, with all the experience that UCLA has at quarterback, with Hundley, no experience for the most part at quarterback. Grayson Lambert for Virginia. His first start of the season, and that will help. Kevin Parks gets to the outside and has a first down.
Nice little bit of misdirection to be able to get Parks to the edge. You start one way and come back the other. Nice eyes by Parks. He takes it out the backside.
Parks up the gut for a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
If you look at both these teams on balance and you say, what's the strength? What you have right now is a real strength for UCLA against the weakness for this UVA team. This defensive front, that guy right there, Digizua, if I were the head coach, I'd have him come off the bus first, because he looks the part. That has NFL written all over it.
He was out all of last year, 2 hip surgeries, but he is back strong this year. And there he is getting penetration, and that blows the play up. Owa Odigizua at right defensive end forced Parks right into Eric Kendricks.
Yeah, what you're going to see is they're coming with the slant with Odigizua. And he's just a powerful, powerful kid. Watch him come down inside, and he disrupts everything. And by doing that, that allows the linebacker behind to run free. See how he gets penetration up inside? That's Mooney, number 76. They moved him outside. He's making his first start at left tackle, and that's he's got himself a big task today. This right here is a big-time play. Has to be.
They set the screen up on 3rd down and 9. Breaking a tackle, spinning for the first down is Kevin Parks.
That's a great call. Gain of 13. Steve Fairchild, their offensive coordinator, anticipated they would get some pressure, and then was able to get Parks back underneath on the screen. See how he invites it in, and then takes advantage of that upfield pressure and sets up this first.
Parks again. Submarines and gets back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on 1st down, 2nd down and 10.
Bobby, if they're going to have any kind of success, it's not going to be just man-on-man up front. This defensive front for UCLA is the best they've had in years. They have size, they have speed, they have power, they have experience. All those things do not bode well for that Virginia offensive front. So what they have to be able to do is change it up, switch it up.
Cody Wallace in at left guard. And they run right behind Wallace and get a couple of yards back. Kenny Clark made the stop for UCLA.
Okay, so for UVA, what they cannot do is be in this situation. They can't be in 3rd and long. They have to be in 3rd and manageable, which is around 5 to 7 yards. 3rd and 5 to 7. They think they can be able to handle that. But this right here, this does not bode well for them. And Odigizua is the guy that Mike London knows can put major pressure on his quarterback.
All 6 offensive plays so far have gone to Kevin Parks. Here's a screen. It's the wide receiver, Donnie Dowling, and he comes nowhere near picking up a 1st down. And that also hurts Virginia because they're not even in field goal range. They get, without picking up the 1st down there, conceivably could have still gotten in field goal range and gone after 3, but now they'll have to punt from the +40.
They need a good punt, because for them it'll be a field position game. So they have to get some inside the 20 type of kicks here.
Bozenelec with the intentional end over end kick. And this looks like it could work out. One hop into the end zone. So UCLA will get it on the touchback when we come back. We trade possessions, no score. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quinn Kesnick here in Charlottesville. No score. Final moments of the 1st quarter, and it's back to the offense for UCLA. But Brett Hundley and UCLA, they have been not good on 1st and 2nd down so far. More effective here. Paul Perkins picks up 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6, and we'll see if we have another play before the end of the quarter. Looks like UCLA will get set in plenty of time to get one more snap off before the end of the first. Perkins again, easily picking up the first down and more. Down the sideline, out of bounds in Virginia territory, and that takes us to the end of the first quarter. An 18-yard gain for Paul Perkins, but Virginia 2-10 last season, 0-8 in the ACC. Going toe-to-toe with the 7th-ranked Bruins here in Charlottesville. Welcome back to Charlottesville, and welcome back to the ACC on ESPN. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quinn Kesnick, as Virginia opens the season at home against the 7th-ranked UCLA Bruins, and we start the second quarter. No score, but UCLA on the move. A first down in plus territory. That's a backwards pass. That's a live ball. And I'm not sure that Stephen Manfro realized it. That should be at least a 3 or 4 yard loss, and that's what it is. And Matt, he relaxed a bit after he dropped the ball, as if he thought that was simply an incompletion.
Pass. Yeah, exactly right. And watch, the ball's behind the quarterback. Although his Manfro is running toward the ball, it's still behind the quarterback in a backward pass.
He was very lucky that that ball bounced right back up in his hands. Hundley. He'll go down again. This rush of Virginia creates another sack. Max Vallis and Eli Harold got pressure on Brett Hundley.
Yeah, Harold's the key. Harold beat the left offensive tackle with ease. Got to the top side, you're going to see him right over here. Very well done, and then closes, and Vallis is able to clean it up and sets up this 3rd and long.
3rd down and 17. 5-man rush on 3rd and long. Hundley down the sideline, and his receiver didn't turn to look for the ball. Eldridge Massington had it sail behind his head.
Yeah, that's 4 by Massington. That ball was thrown on time. The ball was in the air. Massington never made the turn quick enough. Hundley knows it. Everything about this throw is right, except the receiver coming out of his break.
Ensel's punt lands in the end zone. So it comes out to the 25 when we return for Virginia. Still no score. After the touchback, 1st and 10 for Virginia. Grayson Lambert has that ball deflected and intercepted. Ishmael Adams walks into the end zone with a UCLA touchdown.
Turn around and kiss Odighizuwa, because he's the guy who made the play. Grayson Lambert didn't have a clean pocket. He had pressure. He tried to stand in there. Odighizuwa came from the backside and affected the throw. And because of that, it's a pick 6.
20-yard interception return. Adams scores.
Working on the top side. That's Odighizuwa working against Mooney. He just gets to his shoulder. Those nice long arms. He's able to make that swat, which you're trained to do, and he affects the throw.
Fairbairn's extra point is good. It's 7-0 UCLA as their defense scores after Virginia, with their pass rush, has shut down the UCLA offense for the entire first half so far. Owa Odighizuwa creates the score. Virginia once played football there at Lambeth Field from 1902 until Scott Stadium, where we are now, opened in the middle of the 1931 season. Those colonnades at Lambeth Field turned 101 this year. And the scoreboard just turned 7-0 in favor of UCLA. Mizell takes a knee, and we go back to the interception. The pass rush got there.
Yeah, you always like to say why it happened. And there's 2 reasons. Deion Hollis on this side, and then Odighizuwa on the top side. Hollis is going to come off that edge and affect his face. And because they have enough pressure up here, he can't step up. And that allows Odighizuwa on the backside to be able to swat his arm, and the rest is 6 quick.
So Odighizuwa makes the big play, but now the momentum swing. If you're Virginia, you do all that work in the first quarter, just to get to the second quarter feeling good about yourself, and now you get a pick six. How do you respond?
Your recipe can't change. Grayson Lambert's doing exactly what he's doing. They haven't turned the ball over. They're having some success running the ball. He's throwing and getting to third and manageable. At times they're getting their first downs. They need to score here. They don't have to score right now. They can still continue to play the field position game because defensively they're playing well enough to stay in this game. You're down 7 points, big deal.
If you're Mike London, are you thinking, well, with our pass rush, as well as we've gotten pressure on Brett Hundley, there's no reason to think that our pass rush might not create a turnover at some point in the game. Swing pass to Mazzell. And he moves the pile for about 4 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Anthony Jefferson, Eric Kendricks came up to combine on the tackle.
Bobby, if you look at their passing chart right now, what you would see is maybe one throw, that one down the sideline to Mazzell. Other than that, it's all underneath 10 yards. When you're throwing in a box of 10 yards, that's really tough to continue to make completions because you have to be accurate and you don't stretch the field, so the defenders, they kind of hang there. So it's a tough road right there.
Can they win that way, or at some point you have to throw the ball downfield just to loosen the defense
You do have to take a shot.
Underneath, easy first down, though, on the 3rd down conversion. Catch and run, loose is Andre Lavroni. To the UCLA 40-yard line, a gain of 27.
The other thing you open up is that can of picks. They don't like to call them picks, they like to call them rubs. But when you can do that, you catch a team in man coverage, you can rub off of guys and you'll get open receivers like that.
And they'll try and go fast with Mazzell. Looking for some room, and he picks up about 5 to the UCLA 35-yard line. How important is this drive now for Virginia? Their defense has done the job. The 7 points, if you're just joining us, put on the board by the UCLA defense. So far, Virginia's pitched a shutout. Yeah, this is a big-time drive right here. They've got to get points out of it. Don't make mistakes. Good throw by Lampert to his offside, and it's scooped up at the 22-yard line. Miles Gooch has Virginia knocking on the door of the red zone, a gain of 13. I like the conception of that. Now, you don't have great speed outside, so now you use leverage. And so you know you have a defender on your inside hip, you keep him there. They roll the quarterback Grayson to that side, and you have a natural throw. This kid's exciting. You like the pace here for Virginia? Yes, very much so. And I like the use of Mazzell. Mazzell's got some juice. He's got a little make you miss. He's got some speed. Get him in space, he can do some things. Taquan Mazzell struggled most of last year with a high ankle sprain, but he's a sprinter on the Virginia track team. Not much room to sprint there. Miles Jack, last year as a freshman, offensive and defensive freshman of the year in the Pac-12, made the tackle. And this brings up a very important 3rd down to try and keep this drive alive for UVA. Inside the 20. If you're Steve Fairchild right now, I'm thinking about picks and rubs. Let's see if we draw man coverage. Even if we don't, if we get them to back off, it's 3rd and manageable. You can pick up your 5 yards. Well, they've got twin receivers on either side and eligible to run that to either play. And they're showing a man look. Slant, incomplete. Crowd looking for the flag. Miles Jack there in coverage. That's a great job. The intended receiver. Great job by Miles Jack in coverage on Mazzell. And so he's taking him man-to-man the whole way. Mazzell tried to get back to the inside. Jack came over the top and made a play of it. Yeah, that's the way you defend. There probably should have been a flag on that because he hooked him on the top side, but that's the way you defend it. What he has to learn to do is get his hand down low. Officials never call hips, they call shoulders. That time they missed the shoulder. So they have to settle for an Ian Fry field goal attempt from 35. This to get Virginia on the board. And he's got it. So UVA gets points. That's a big drive. We'll step aside for just a moment. Miles Gooch had one of those big catches on the field goal drive for Virginia. And Matt Millen, 8 plays, results in only 3, but Virginia got some points on the board in their offense, maybe feeling differently about themselves than they did a moment ago. Yep, Shoes, that's the key. Yeah, what that does is it breeds confidence. And the more confident you get with your group, the more success you're going to have. Dylan Sims with the kickoff. Curls into the corner, returnable for Ishmael Adams. Doesn't even even make it to the 20-yard line. Devontae Walker knifed down Ishmael Adams. And field position now in favor of Virginia, and their pass rush has been maybe the biggest factor for them so far here in the first half.
Yeah, 3 guys who have showed up. Max Vallis on the outside, 88. Harold, number 7, on the other side, and on the inside, David Dean. Those guys have played extremely well.
Dean and Harold were 2 players that you said when you watched film of Virginia this week really stood out.
They jumped right off the tape on them, and they need to.
Brett Hundley again under pressure, scrambles back towards the line of scrimmage, no gain. But again, how quickly does he react to the pressure?
That's it. That's the key. They have affected him. They needed to do it. They've done it. And so now they have to be a better tackling group. They vacated the middle. See, one of the rules that you see with them, anytime they vacate the middle, Brett Hundley just takes off and runs because there's no one there.
They'll keep it on the ground on 2nd down and long. And Paul Perkins is driven back, maybe picked up a yard. Once again, it's 3rd down and long coming for UCLA as Henry Coley made the tackle. This crowd senses it.
They know it.
They know their defense is doing work. 1 for 6 on 3rd down for UCLA. 4-man rush, the screen behind it. Cut back by Paul Perkins. Can't get to the 1st down line.
Nice call. Nice call. And a nice job of rallying to the ball. It's all right to give up the completion. It's even more all right to hold them short of the 1st down.
Angled a punt. Gets it away. 5 straight punts now for UCLA, and this is good field position for Virginia. Well, Quint Kesnick, you're down there on the UCLA sideline, and you were standing right there as once again that Bruin offense came off the field. How about the looks on their faces?
Not good. You talk about frustration, lack of communication between quarterback and offensive line. You got offensive linemen kind of going at it with each other, and it varies from possession to possession. This has been a big-time nightmare in terms of their offensive line so far this game. They're not only schematically, but now they're losing all their individual matchups.
Okay, so that's great, Q, because I got to tell you, when that happens, what you have to do is you go back to your base and fundamentals. And you go back to your basic offense until guys can straighten their shorts out. And if that means just one protection, that's what you do. But you got to get everybody on the same page. Communication's essential.
Kevin Parks for 5.
They have them on their heels a little bit right here. Now would be a great time to take a shot. You're already at 2nd and 5, so you can get to 3rd and manageable, but you got to take a shot and try to stretch this field a little bit. Showing pressure.
Lambert beats the pressure up the middle, but it's a drop. Zach Swanson, the tight end, tried to react to a ball that was thrown slightly behind him.
It was behind him, and that was the right read. They brought pressure to the outside. Swanson slipped and got inside, beat his coverage, got to the middle of the field. Had Lambert been able to make that throw, there was some green.
And this Virginia offense lost Jake McGee to a transfer to Florida. He was a 43-catch tight end last season that wanted to be more of an inline tight end. Went to Florida as a result. No need for Jake McGee's help on that play, though. Kanan Severin able to slant for a 1st down, and a nice throw.
That's a nice, smart run by Severin. Severin had his coverage, and it's leverage. He's to the outside. You're going to see him come to the middle. You see, they use the tight end to slow the coverage down a little bit, slip him back inside. That's your pick game, or we call it rubs on the offensive side of the ball.
I hear the bitter defensive mindset coming out.
It's always there
when you say pick game. And 2 yards to Taquan Mizell on a dive. It'll be 2nd down and 8 from the UCLA 40.
Miles Jack in the middle of that. Miles Jack, we had him last year a few times. We saw him as a running back. We saw him as a linebacker. He's You talked about the accolades that he received, and they were justified. But what he has above all else, regardless of what side he plays on, is great instincts.
Lambert, does he feel the rush? Somehow unloads in time to get it to Mazzell, and he took a shot as he did, about 3.5 yards shy of the first down, so a big third down coming.
Oh, he made a nice, he stood right in there. He did not deviate with his eyes. Watch Hollins is going to come right up inside in his face. Odighizuwa on the backside. That is nice. Hollins gets a nice hit on him, but he stays in there.
You know, Grayson Lambert's never made a start before today, and yet he just did what it seems like your #1 concern about Brett Hundley is at quarterback. Eyes downfield, third down conversion. Losing the football is Kyle Dawkins. It's picked up, and it looks like this is ruled a fumble on the field. Randall Goforth scoops it and scores. Mike London is signaling to the officials he thinks he was down by contact. But the officials allow that play to continue. This will obviously be reviewed. As it stands, though, it is a scoop and score for Randall Goforth.
Let's see exactly what happens. Is he down by contact? That ball's out. Oh, boy, that's really close. I can't see exactly when the knee was down. But the ball may have been coming out when he was, before his knee touched.
Quint Kesnick's down there. Quint, did you get a look?
Yeah, I had a pretty good angle. I'm at the far side right 22-yard line, right where the tackle was made. And from my angle, it appeared that the ball was pawed free before the knee hit.
See, Willis, Priest Willis makes the first hit. Kendricks affects the ball.
After reviewing the play stands as called.
That's a good call.
Touchdown.
So twice here in the first half, all of the juice has been drained out of this building when the crowd feels like their team is finally getting some momentum going, and the UCLA defense makes a big play, gets a turnover, and turns it into a touchdown. Fairbairn with the extra point, and it is 14-3. UCLA on top of Virginia. Under 3 minutes to go here in the first half. And did it look like the Virginia players thought that he was down by contact?
They were hoping.
It's now a 2-score lead for UCLA. Both of their touchdowns scored by their defense. And it'll be a touchback for Virginia.
You know, they have put Michael Mooney in a tough position, going against one of the top defensive ends out there in college football, in Odighizuwa, and they haven't helped him at all. They've said, you know what, here's your assignment. Good luck.
Dropped pass on 1st and 15. Low throw intended for Shepard. Again, Odighizuwa was getting pressure on the backside of Grayson Lambert.
They knew coming into this they were going to have to get rid of the ball fast. They knew they were going to have a problem with Odighizuwa. They knew they weren't going to be able to push the ball down the field. And within all that, they still had some confidence that they could move the ball, and they were right. They've done what they've set out to do. They just need points.
It's now 3rd down and manageable. 3rd down and 8 as they got 7 to Kanan Severin there.
Yeah, so at one point, and it's not here, but in these 3rd down situations, you just got to bring some pressure and go man-to-man and force him to be accurate.
4-man rush. And Lambert screens behind it, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Eric Kendricks. Defensive touchdown number 3 in the 2nd quarter for UCLA.
Bob, remember what I just said about going man-to-man and make him be accurate? And I said it wouldn't be here. Well, I was wrong. They did that. That's exactly what they did. They went tight man-to-man. They tried to isolate Mazzell underneath on Kendricks. Watch 6 right in the middle. Okay? That's going to be his coverage. He's just going to undercut it. Poorly thrown. Great coverage. Takes it to the house.
(21-3) UCLA, and it is their defense that has scored 3 times in the 2nd quarter alone. Grayson Lambert and the Virginia offense has dug themselves a big hole, 21-3, and a scoreboard that couldn't be more misleading, Matt Millen, in how this game has gone. You'd think, well, Brett Hundley's out there doing work. UCLA's moving the ball up and down the field the way that you would expect. No, it's 12 yards of total offense for UCLA so far in this quarter, and they've still scored 3 touchdowns.
And to be perfectly frank with you, I don't believe that. Probably killed the second half of this, but I don't believe that UVA can score 24 points here in the second half, or 18 points even. They were moving the ball, they were doing fine, then they just beat themselves. Most teams don't lose. Most teams beat themselves.
And it looks like they are making a quarterback change. Matt Johns is going to go in now to take over for Grayson Lambert. So the first start for a quarterback that was basically declared the starter by Mike London in spring practice.
Right.
When they came out with their first depth chart back in the spring, Grayson Lambert was the starter. And now he pulls the plug and goes to Matt Johns, down 21-3. What do you think of that move?
Kind of surprises me, actually. I thought he'd have some more patience. Unless this Johns is a little bit better at throwing the deep ball.
Well, Matt Johns has never attempted a pass in a regular season game. So his first attempt will be his first career attempt. Practice 2 yards on the carry by Parks. Odigizua makes the stop. Another timeout called before 3rd down and 5 by UCLA.
Yet here they find themselves down by 18 points. I don't know if that was the time. They were to me, they're playing fine. They beat themselves with a couple things.
Matt Johns with a deep ball. Drops it in on 3rd and 5. How about that to Kanan Severin?
And the people at home are saying that's why they made the switch. That's only the second throw I've seen over 15 yards. That's a 32-yard completion. Nice protection, and that's nice touch.
So maybe Matt Johns plays with some confidence now. They'll let him put it up, and instead he'll tuck it under and run. Turns the corner, steps out of bounds inside the 30. And now the timeouts that UCLA called actually helping Virginia preserve some time for the Cavaliers.
Miles Jack came up limping a little bit on that one, and here he is. He burst to try to make that play, and he started limping in the middle of it.
8 seconds to go here in the first half. Virginia still has 2 timeouts. Looks like Miles Jack will head back to the UCLA locker room. And Matt, if this is a drive where Matt Johns could ever produce 7, maybe you'd have a different game heading to the second half.
It'll have a different feel for sure.
Johns wants the deep ball. He's looking for 7. Oh! Catch is made. Andre Lebroni's got a Cavalier touchdown. There's a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
Shoes, that was an awesome effort. That ball was slightly underthrown, but Lebroni went up and made a spectacular catch.
Defense offside.
That's
94.
6.
That penalty applied. Touchdown.
Did you ever see a quarterback change make a more immediate impact on a football game?
Hasn't had a throw at all, and this is his first one's a big completion. The second one's a touchdown. Watch this effort. Up and over. That's a heck of a player he's playing over right there also. That's a great effort.
And it's been a while since Lebroni has played in games as well. He missed all but 3 games of his high school senior year because of injury, and then was a redshirt last year. So that's a redshirt freshman that hasn't played much football in about the last 3 years, making that kind of play on the ball, and that gets Virginia back in the game, down 21-10.
I think if you look on balance, you would say UCLA is a little bit out of sync. They need to correct that at halftime. But UVA is right where they need to be.
And we'll see what Matt Johns does in the second half. You assume he would start at quarterback for Virginia after halftime. It's a 21-10 lead for UCLA. All their points scored on defense. Time for Reese and the Lexus halftime report. It is the ACC on ESPN, and we're just about set for the start of the 3rd quarter here in Charlottesville. Virginia might get themselves back in the game. They trail 21-10. The Cavaliers will start with the football, but Eric Kendricks was a big reason why it's a 21-10 UCLA lead. The number 7 team in the country scored 3 times on defense in the second quarter. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, a guy that knows something about defense, will join Quinn Kesnick in just a moment. If you're going to win a championship, and that's the aspirations for UCLA this year, sometimes one unit has to pick up the other.
Absolutely.
Well, it was not a good first half offensively for Brett Hundley, but what a second quarter for the UCLA defense.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns. I don't know when the last time that happened, and they did it with 2 picks and a scoop and score. And it was just great awareness all the time. There was no quitting them whatsoever. You saw that, and you saw that they had the confidence to be able to hang in there. Now, what you also saw, however, at the end of the first quarter, was when Matt Johns came in at quarterback, and he did something that Grayson Lambert couldn't do, and that was manage the pocket. So as soon as he felt a little pressure, he was able to move and make some throws down the field. And now it's a completely different feel for this offense of Virginia.
So Matt Johns was warming up on the sideline. It is very obvious that he will begin the second half as the quarterback for UVA, and you can't have much more momentum coming out to start a second half than UVA created going into the locker room at halftime, scoring a touchdown right before the end of the first half. And they'll start the third quarter with the ball. Taquan Mizzell will bring it out. And he won't get near the 15-yard line. So poor field position for Virginia. And they'll start with Matt Johns in the shotgun to begin the second half. They'll start on the ground with Kevin Parks, and he'll pick up about a yard as we take a look at our first half stats brought to you by the U.S. Navy. Not much offense in the first half for UCLA, only 136 yards, but you get 3 takeaways and score on all 3. You're in good shape.
Yeah, the key is, put points on the board. So they've done that. But defensively, I thought I'd see that they were able to get the turnovers, but I thought I'd see a more dominant defensive effort out of UCLA against this offensive front.
Another handoff to Parks. And it will be 3rd down and 8. Miles Jack, we're told, by the way, had a cramp in the first half. He has worked his way through that, back on the field. So they did confirm on the UCLA sideline that it was a cramping issue. And now it's 3rd down and 8 for Matt Johns, who, by the way, was the holder last year in all 12 games. So he did at least appear in some games. Actually came on to take a knee against VMI. Did not attempt to pass at quarterback, but the first 2 pass attempts of his Virginia career were the 2 completions right before halftime. And four-man rush on 3rd down and 5, but Digizua forces him back, and Johns is able to unload for a first down to Donnie Dowling. Great play with the feet by Matt Johns.
They have a different tackle out there instead of Mooney. And it didn't matter because Digizua just went right by him.
They go hurry up and lose yardage on first down with the ground game again. Khalid Shepard dropped for a loss by Deion Hollins. 2nd down and 11. And every time UVA hands the ball off, the crowd gets a little angry.
Yeah, what they've done, they've taken Mooney out of the equation. Jackson Mateo has gone in. That has been a mismatch for Digizua.
2nd down and 11. Darius Jennings has been quiet. He's arguably the best receiver that Virginia has. He's to the top of the screen.
Watch up top there.
Johns with all day. Directing traffic, tucks it under and runs. Stays in bounds, gets inside the 40. And actually they will mark him out at the 41, so it will be a gain of 4, maybe 5 yards. 3rd down and at least 6.
So now you have something else that you have to look to, and that's the ability of the thrower to become a runner.
Third down and 6 for the Cavaliers to try and keep the drive alive. Only a 3-man rush. They play coverage underneath, and now what do you do? 4th down and 2. Donnie Dowling brought down at the 36-yard line. And you're right in that gray area. Do you go for it?
With the way my defense has been playing, I'm going to go for it. And they are. I like this. Mike London, when you're a game manager, you have to manage how your team is playing both sides of the ball. So this is speaking more to, I think we can stop them if we have to. Let's go try to get the first.
4th down and 2. UCLA tries to get a stop on downs. Johns hands it off, breaking free. First down and more as Parks spins down inside the 25. Randall go for it. Might have saved a touchdown.
He did save a touchdown. Gutsy call inside. They go with the run. It's a read. They came over the top, and Ishmael Adams had a chance to make a play and couldn't do it. Pick up a 13 and a first.
Now all of a sudden the crowd likes the run game.
Exactly. Hey, this kid's pretty good.
They booed every time they handed it off to Kevin Parks before that play. 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line. Johns on a design quarterback run, and he'll take a knee and lose a yard. Deion Hollins gave him nowhere to go.
Deion Hollins is playing a heck of a game today. We've heard him in the pass game. We've heard his name in the run game. He has been getting off the ball. He's been playing with great leverage. He has been a force here today. Both these ends, Adigizua and Hollins, have played exceptionally well.
UVA apparently has both of their tackles now back in the locker room getting fluids, trying to avoid cramping. Johns floats one to the sideline, incomplete through the hands of Zach Swanson. So now it's 3rd down and 10 at the 23.
3rd and 10. You can't be a sitting target back there if you're Matt Johns. So I, as a play caller, I want to try to bake that into my call and try to give him some movement and stretch the field, because in addition to buying time with his feet to find a throw, it also helps your receivers to be able to uncover.
And a field goal here makes it a 1-possession game. Flags down at the snap. To the end zone, it's caught. Darius Jennings, if the play stands, that's a Virginia touchdown.
It's a heck of a throw. You see how Jennings got body position shoes.
Defense, offside, number 58, that penalty decline, touchdown.
That's really well done by Jennings. He had position. Johns threw it to the outside.
We've got a football game. Who are you, Matt Johns? Grayson Lambert benched before halftime. Matt Johns, his first career pass attempts, resulting in 2 touchdowns. One to end the half, one midway through the 3rd quarter. And Virginia is right back in it. Matt Johns was the holder coming into today. That's where he was on the depth chart for Virginia. But he gets the call out of the bullpen. Grayson Lambert, the quarterback, replaced by Mike London, and now 2 touchdown passes by the redshirt sophomore Matt Johns, who had never thrown a pass before today. He's got Virginia back in the game.
Choose the most impressive part of that was a score before the snap ever happened. He recognized coverage, he recognized leverage, and he threw it to the perfect spot.
Returnable kick for Adams inside the 5. Lassoed down at about the 15-yard line. The crowd alive in Charlottesville. UCLA with the ball when we come back. The Corner is a 7-block collection of bars, restaurants, night spots on University Avenue here in Charlottesville. It's a great spot. If you've never been to Charlottesville, tremendous college town to visit. And a great football atmosphere now as Brett Hundley under some pressure, swings it right. Good decision by Hundley that picks up a 1st down. And it looks like off of some momentum, Nate Ayese picks up the first down on the dump out. It's going to be Hundley getting his team to the line quickly. Wow. Top team struggling. UCLA has struggled offensively all day against this Virginia defense. They start this drive at their own 34 with Paul Perkins up the middle for about 4 yards. I guess we knew that the quarterback injury to Braxton Miller was going to have an adjustment period for Ohio State, but you can't lose to Navy on opening day. High snap, Hundley pulls it down, and then Paul Perkins gets pulled down. Henry Coley and David Dean in the backfield again.
Henry Coley right in the middle of it. John Tenuta, I've been talking about him all day. He's their defensive coordinator. He has called a fantastic game. That was another blitz up the middle. Good anticipation. Sets up this third down.
Third down and 8. UCLA is 3 for 11 on third down. Here comes the blitz. Hundley dancing in the pocket, looks left. That time he kept his eyes downfield, beat the blitz, and it's a first down to midfield to Eldridge Massington.
That's the best he looked all day. That's the best he looked in terms of handling the pressure. Kept his eyes nice, disciplined down the field, didn't feel the pressure, knew where he had to go. It's coming right up in his face. Now watch his eyes. He stays with it, goes to his second read, and makes the throw. That's fantastic.
Perkins finds a lane. There goes Paul Perkins into the secondary. Leaps down to about the 33-yard line of Virginia, a gain of 16. But how many red flags right now are going up for you about the quarterback, the offense, or are you just going to give Virginia a tremendous amount of defensive credit?
Well, I think both. I think this is a good defense. I think it's better than people thought it was.
Hundley on a keeper. Gets the 5 back. It'll be 2nd and 10.
But I also think it's a wake-up call for them offensively, because it can't all be Brett Hundley. It can't be that. You have to have other guys. So they have to have a receiver who steps up. They have to have a running game. He can't be the whole show.
Down the sideline, a strike thrown by Hundley. Duarte inside the 10. It's 1st and goal. UCLA at the 8.
Well done. Had some time, stayed with it, eyes down the field, ball's right where it had to be. Pickup of 25 and a first.
Hundley lobs to the back pylon, intended for Massington. It'll be 2nd down and goal at the 8. And think about the difference here between field goal and touchdown on the scoreboard.
Oh, yeah.
If Virginia stiffens and they only allow 3, still a 1-possession game, they're only down 7.
Let's see what they dial up.
Right up the middle to go with Perkins.
Nice hit.
And now Virginia will have that chance on 3rd down to hold to a field goal.
That's Henry Coley. Henry Coley's played himself a heck of a game. That middle backer's been exactly where he's had to be all game long. Sets up this big 3rd down, like you said. 3rd and goal. See if they don't bring pressure.
That's Devin Fuller in motion.
They do.
Hundley, quarterback draw, inside the 5, reaches for the goal line. He's in, touchdown. What an effort by Brett Hundley. Quinn Blanding couldn't keep him out of the end zone.
And that's almost automatic. When he sees the middle vacated, he's going right back up inside. Right there, they needed it from Romero and wasn't able to get it. And then Blanding couldn't quite get the job done.
What an answer for UCLA. 9 plays, 66-yard touchdown drive.
That's the first time they look like UCLA, what we've expected.
It's the first offensive points they've scored. UCLA's offense has now put 7 points on the board, but thanks to 3 defensive touchdowns and this run by Brett Hundley, they've got a 2-score lead again. So it comes out to the 25 for Virginia. And again, we'll see how Matt Johns responds. They've been down by 3 scores at one point in this game. It was 21-3. They got it all the way back to 21-17. And now down by 11 with a minute to go in the 3rd. Taquan Mazzell in the backfield to the right of Johns. Mazzell has it, gets a block. Picks up a yard to the 26-yard line. Scott Stadium looks terrific on this opening college football Saturday. Hopefully you're enjoying your Labor Day weekend as football is back. There goes Mazzell. 3rd down and 2 coming up as he gets out to about the 33-yard line. And that might take us to the end of the 3rd quarter.
It's still a close game. Remember what we said in the 1st quarter. The longer this game stays close, that's an advantage for UVA.
Well, they have a big 3rd down coming up to start the 4th quarter in just a moment. We'll step aside. UCLA has retaken control. Can Virginia respond in the 4th? Back to start the 4th quarter. ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com, part of Kickoff Weekend, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. They're having a lot more fun in that student section up on the hill at Scott Stadium than maybe they thought they would, as last year Virginia fans watched their team struggle to a 2-10 record, but they are tangling with number 7 on opening day. Big play, 3rd down and 2 here, and they can't pick up the 1st down.
Great tackle.
Randall Goforth just barely shut down Mazzell before he picked it up.
Yeah, Mazzell can't be tackled, but that's fantastic by Goforth coming inside out and anticipating. They were going to try to set kind of a pick and get Mazzell back underneath. See it, there he comes. But Goforth runs right by the potential picker and makes the play.
That's Matt Millen. I'm Bob Wischusen. Quint Kesnick with us here as well. And that was a big 3rd down stop by UCLA defensively. They're about to get the ball back. And a returnable kick that actually takes a very friendly UVA hop. Ishmael Adams couldn't catch up to the low kick, and it rolls dead inside the 20.
That's good for UVA. I would not be kicking to Ishmael Adams. That kid's scary.
Turns out to be a 53-yard punt for Vozelenek. So now the pressure back on the Virginia defense. Brett Hundley with a wonderful drive. The last time UCLA's offense was on the field, and he pulls it down on a keeper. Hundley picks up the 1st down. Designed quarterback run and a gain of about 13.
Nice read by Hundley. All he's doing is watching that end. Seen Harold takes a nice pinch inside, and they're putting everything back on Harris, number 8. And there's a blocker there, so that's going to give him some room to run.
Hundley under some pressure, steps up in the pocket, and there he goes. This time Virginia loses track of Hundley. They can't keep him in the pocket, and he scrambles for 17.
That's well done by Brett Hundley. And he saw all that open up in front of him. He stepped up, allowed the rush to go behind him. Watch, you'll see him step up. His eyes are still down the field, and now he takes off. That's well done.
Draw to the left. Perkins uses the stiff arm. He's got another 1st down. And now you wonder if that Virginia defense is starting to get a little winded. They've been out there for a lot of plays.
Yeah, they have, but they knew that going into it. But one of the things that's starting to show up as this game has gone on is the blocking from the receivers from UCLA. They're doing a nice job down the field of getting a body on a body and allowing people to get to that 2nd level.
Virginia needs a stop after the defensive timeout to catch their breath. Brett Hundley, nice job again reading it by Hundley as he pulls it down and picks up about 5 when it looked like Virginia had them stopped in the backfield.
Yeah, I want to show you something, because what they're doing, they're going to slant. See the hard slant? His eyes are back to that backside. And because they have that slant down inside, it creates a short corner. He takes advantage of it.
He'll throw on 2nd and 5. Sets up the screen. Well read. Manfro immediately dropped. Daquan Romero stayed home, and that's a loss of about 4. And here's the 3rd down opportunity that the Virginia defense needed.
That was as a result of tight man coverage. So Romero was on his coverage right away, and it is sets up this 3rd and long. They need somebody to make a play here.
It feels like a have-to-have-it stop for the Virginia defense. Brett Hundley looks left, right at the first down marker. He fires a strike to Jordan Payton.
And Jordan Payton, because he tried to keep his balance, actually lost another yard.
He's at least 3 yards short. He caught it right at the first down marker.
Yeah, but Hosky, watch Hosky. That's a nice job of driving. Payton tries to keep his balance. It goes backwards, and Hosky stays on top of it.
Actually, now they've moved the ball forward about 2 yards to make it 4th and 1. Quint Kesnick is on the UCLA sideline.
I can get you that yard. It's what quarterback Brent Hundley said to Jim Mora during that last timeout. Mora turned to me, he goes, my Heisman guy wants to go for it. I think we're going to go for it.
That's pretty good. Quint Kesnick involved in the strategy session. So
nice.
4th and 1, and they will go for it.
Nice play call, Quint.
Perkins to the left of Hundley.
Trying to spread it out. Didn't work.
And Hundley gets shut down.
And a
the ball
fumble
comes out. They had them stopped anyway. So another momentum shift for the Virginia defense for the second time today. They stop UCLA on downs, and it's still a 2-possession game.
So, Shoes, what he was trying to do, they motioned to empty, and they wanted to clear the middle. But Virginia did not clear the middle. They kept it. They kept bringing people up front inside, and they were able to get the stop. Hundley was waiting for people to get out of there, and they was just going to do a quarterback draw up inside.
So Virginia still alive. And how important was that forward progress change of the spot now, as UCLA would have kicked a field goal. Johns with a slant and a drop by Kyle Dawkins. Let's go back to the 4th down play.
So like you heard from Quint saying the quarterback said he could get it. So what they do is they motion this out. So they create empty, nothing back here. And what they're looking for is what kind of defense is in the middle. Well, they brought a blitz up inside. They didn't go for it. And so because of that, the throws are dead. There's nothing inside. He's got to be able to eat it, and that's exactly what happened.
Matt Johns under pressure. Throws across his body, middle of the field, and does he find Zach Swanson? Yes, he does, for a completion right at the 50-yard line for 15 yards.
Boy, you said everything right there, Shoes. That is just holding your breath. You don't do that. Throw it back inside. And Johns makes the throw, but Swanson had to come back to that ball a little quicker. He made the completion, however.
Four yards off right guard for Taquan Mazzell. And Virginia, with a lot of time left, still 10 minutes to go in this game, down by 11.
I would still incorporate as much movement out of Johns. He has some movement and feel. Take advantage of that. Don't make him be a sitting duck in that pocket.
About 3 yards short of the first down on the reception by Miles Gooch. So that brings up an important third down. And what you have to think now might start to be 4-down territory for Virginia on 3rd down and 3. Should they fail to get this, now you start to look at time and score.
I think what you might do, because you have to have 2 scores here, if they don't get it here, if it's 4th and long, if they 4th and right here, I could see him try and field position one more time, and that's it.
Johns, incomplete, but a flag out. Ishmael Adams, hand-to-hand combat with Caden Severin. And it looks like they might have Adams.
So the difference in the calls, remember earlier, the difference is the ball was in the air when that contact was made. That would be the difference in the call.
Before the pass was thrown, holding on the defense, number 3. 10-yard penalty, first down.
They actually got Randall Goforth away from the ball. Either way, it's a free first down for Virginia.
Holding, they'll give the 15 yards. That's longer pass play than they've had all day.
And in case you're wondering, Ian Fry, kicker for Virginia, his career-long 53 yards last year on opening day against BYU. Right about here, it would be about a 51-yarder. A bubble screen thrown to the edge to Darius Jennings. And he picks up a couple. So they are just about in field goal range now. Should they stall, they could make it a one-possession game. And how much does that affect how you call plays here if you're Steve Fairchild? Now that you know you could conceivably right here make it a one-possession game.
Right. Somewhere right around here, you've got to take your shot. You still have enough field to be able to take a shot. Here it might come. Nope.
Back to the sideline, almost intercepted. Good read by Miles Jack, and he almost picked it off, intended for Severin. Now it's 3rd down and 8.
Well, Miles Jack really breaks on the ball. That's really well done. As soon as he saw that, he came downhill fast. Watch the break. Inside out. That's inches away from a pick.
We asked Jim Mora if we thought we might see Miles Jack offensively. And he said, you know, he's got to be on a pitch count. I would rather have a great linebacker than an average linebacker and an average running back if we get him tired. 3rd and 8. Johns lobs it down the sideline. It's a jump ball, and it's incomplete. It's a long field goal attempt with Lavroni, the intended receiver, as Ian Fry right at the sideline. And now he walks back onto the sideline. Wow, are they going to go for it? This would be less than a 50-yard field goal. And they're going to go for it on 4th and 8 for a kicker that last year made a 53-yarder on opening day. Matt Johns. Bullets went on 4th down, and he's got a conversion to Darius Jennings. Into the red zone go the Cavaliers. A gain of 14.
So the Cavaliers get a little bit of confidence in their quarterback. And they allow him to push the ball down the field. Nice protection. That's the key. And then he leverages that corner. As soon as he gets to the inside, John sees it, and the ball's delivered.
Matt Johns wants to go quickly. Hand off. Nothing doing. Khalid Shepard brought down right at the line. Kenny Orgioki made the stop.
Digizua coming off to the sidelines. That's good news for the Virginia Cavalier offensive line.
Jacob Tuiati Mariner, a true freshman from Corona, California, just replaced the 5th-year senior, Owa Odigizua. 2nd down and 10. Johns right up the gut. This time a more effective play. Down to about the 10-yard line goes Khalid Shepard for a gain of 7. Now it's 3rd down and 3 at the 10.
They've got to be better in the red zone. You can see what they were a year ago, just over 50%. They did have a nice score the last time they were down here. Right now, it's imperative get the first. You don't have to get the whole thing, just get the first.
Severin in motion. 3rd and 3 at the 10. Johns incomplete. 4th down and 3 at the 10. Severin, the intended receiver. And here comes Ian Fry to try and make it a one-possession game.
You know, UVA doesn't have a receiver who can get separation. That's one of the things that's going to bother them all season long. They've got bigger guys. They don't run away from anybody, so it's all about body position, which puts more pressure on your quarterback to be accurate.
Fry from 27 to cut the lead to 8 out of the hold of Matt Johns. And he's got it. 6:47 to go. And it's a one-score game here in Charlottesville on opening day between UCLA and Virginia. To look inside the Edgar Allan Poe room. Edgar Allan Poe, a writer and a poet, enrolled at Virginia back in February of 1826 for one term. They've got a couple of pretty famous alums that have rolled through this school that apparently have something in between the ears.
Yeah, just a few. But none like that. That bird was a dandy, boy. It's telltale heart. Still scares me.
Devin Fuller gets outside. That's a good return with a flag down. A flag back at the 22-yard line. Maurice, we've got less than 7 minutes to go here in Charlottesville. And Virginia down to 2 timeouts. They called one to give their defense a chance to catch their breath earlier. Now it's back on Brett Hundley. Hundley's been much better in the second half than he was in the first half. Lost the football. Oh, it got picked back up. Paul Perkins ends up with it and loses some yards inside the 10. Was that ball on the ground? I couldn't tell. It looked as if a very friendly hop just happened for the Bruins. How about that? Right back up into the hands of Paul Perkins. A loss of 3, but it could have been a lot worse for UCLA.
UVA needs a turnover.
Hundley from the goal line. Long throw to the sideline, and it's dropped. Thomas Duarte had a chance to make a big play for the Bruins, and instead, this place will come apart at the seams before 3rd and 13.
Duarte had it. The ball was well thrown. 3rd and long. Let's see what John Danuta drills up here. He's been aggressive all game long.
He's sending a blitz. Hundley from the goal line under some pressure. Tipped ball, and it's incomplete.
Max Vallis had him shot at a pick.
Looked like Maurice Canaday coming on the blitz might have gotten the pressure and the tip of the pass by Hundley.
They bring pressure again, and they're dropping Vallis. You can see it right here. Canaday gets a little bit of a tip right there. It turns out he wasn't even close.
Randall gets it loose from the end zone. Fair catch called for and made at the UCLA 40. Exactly what Virginia's defense needed to do. They flipped the field. It's a one-possession game. 5:55 to go in the 4th quarter. UCLA on top by 8, but Virginia with their best field position of the day by far, starting at the UCLA 40-yard line after their defense just got the stop deep. Bob Wischusen alongside Matt Millen. Quint Kesnick down on the field, and Matt Johns has helped turn this game around for Virginia. The quarterback switch before halftime. And he'll hand it off. Try to get to the edge and turn the corner as Parks. Spun out after a gain of 2.5. Randall Goforth was there for the Bruins.
Not too many teams are going to run to the edge on UCLA. They run extremely well, and they have good discipline outside in their corners. What UVA's got to be able to do here again is put themselves in a position of 3rd and manageable, and then allow their quarterback Johns to buy a little time with his feet if he can. He's been successful doing that.
Play action for Johns. Rolls the pocket right. Throws it to the sideline. A bump in the secondary. No flag comes out. Intended for Miles Gooch. And that brings up a big 3rd down and 8 as we take a look at our college football rankings brought to you by AT&T. And what a year it might be in the Pac-12. They start the season with 6 teams ranked in the AP Top 25.
Yeah, and they all have a group that you can say this is a dominant group. And for UCLA, it's their defensive front. That's a good defensive front.
Well, it underscores how important this game is for UCLA.
Absolutely.
Look at the teams they're going to have to go through this year in conference. They've got the toughest schedule in the country according to our power index. Johns finds a soft spot in the zone. That's a 1st down at the 20-yard line on 3rd down and 8 to Levrone.
The whole thing starts with protection and allow Johns to be able to see the field. This is really well done. A much maligned group, but right now, when they have to play their best, they're doing that. And because of that protection, the throw down the field is there.
Back to the ground. Shaking and baking is Shepard. And he didn't shake and bake for much. That's a yard to the 18. It's a tough group to run against. Deion Hollins, Matt making another play along with Miles Jack.
Deion Hollins is having a fantastic game. Odigizua on the other side as well. Miles Jack as well. You don't hear much about the 2 inside guys. That's because they haven't tried even to run very much inside. But Vander Doe's on the inside, number 47. That's another good player.
Virginia huddling up, taking their time. They only have 2 timeouts left, and that clock now down close to 4.5 minutes to go. Johns, quarterback draw. Loses a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
All right, last time UCLA, they went with the zone and they didn't bring any pressure. Let's see if they change it a little bit. They enjoy, to me, they enjoy an advantage with their pass rushers versus this offensive line. So I would give a little bit of pressure right here and see what happens, because these receivers aren't running away from anybody. They also have an advantage in speed in the secondary.
As you can see, Matt Johns has been very good on third down. 6 for 9 with a touchdown pass. Third down and 10 here. A handoff up the middle. Well, the crowd's going to love that. Now it's 4th down and 8. Now, if you kick a field goal, you're within a touchdown, only down by 5. You've got 2 timeouts. Do you let your defense go play, or do you go for it on 4th down and 8? It looks like they'll go for it.
That one, I didn't get. That one.
Is that almost a play call knowing you're going for it on 4th down anyway?
Well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say yes.
4th and 8.
Has them spread.
Johns, incomplete. Good coverage by Jack. Intended for Dowling. UCLA gets the 4th down stop with 3:20 to go.
That was great coverage by Miles Jack. Great coverage. He trailed them from underneath and ran with Dowling. So it underscores 2 things: how well he runs, and also how poorly they don't have any speed with the receivers when you have a linebacker tracking a guy across the field.
Now this game is far from over, especially with the way that Virginia's defense has played. Can they get the ball back to their offense one more time, or can Brett Hundley just get 1 first down, which might end the game? Tipped ball, and it falls into the arms of his receiver. Coming back to help was Jordan Payton. That was a dangerous moment for UCLA.
Eli Harold got his hand up.
We've got a timeout called by Virginia. Let's go. High snap. Hundley pulls it down. He's got nowhere to go. And it'll be 3rd down and long. And now it's the game for Virginia. They call their second timeout. 3:07 to go. So they have sold out here, Matt Millen, to try and get the stop on 3rd down and give their offense one more chance.
Look, they are in the best position they could have hoped for. If you would have said at the start of the game that's going to come down with 3 minutes left and you're down by 8 and you have your defense on the field, would you take it? They'd say absolutely yes. And so now it goes back to defensive coordinator John Tenuta. He's been aggressive all game long. To me, he's called a fantastic game. He's putting guys in great positions, and some of the guys have really responded. Eli Harold has responded. Dallas has responded. And so now Henry Coley has also had himself a good game. So one more time is going to be the battle cry.
Can I turn it back on you and ask you what you think Noel Mazzoni calls on 3rd down and 8 here, now that Virginia has no timeouts left?
Well, he doesn't have a receiver who can run away from anybody. And so it's still going to come down to his quarterback. Can he buy some time? Can he be accurate?
Or maybe just run the ball and play to punt. They'll throw. Long throw to the sideline. Coming back to fight for the football. Making the catch. Getting loose is Jordan Payton. And that will all but end the game. What a play by Payton, the wide receiver. Came back and helped out his quarterback. Great throw by Brett Hundley.
That's a great throw by Hundley, but watch Payton drive to the ball. Make sure he knows where the sticks are. Now he drives. And because of that, his ability to come back to the ball, that's a 35-yard gain, and pretty much that could be the game.
UCLA can't yet take a knee, but with the game clock winding under 3 minutes to go and Virginia out of timeouts, it looks like the Bruins are going to survive. Paul Perkins up the middle. And now the Cavaliers are helpless. It'll be 3rd down and long, and they'll be able to take the game clock all the way down under 1:10. He has 3rd down. Perkins up the middle. And this will allow UCLA to take the clock down to about 25 seconds. And then really the only danger that probably remains is whether or not the punt gets blocked.
UVA should walk out of here with their head held high, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And that offense, they did some good things. UCLA did what they had to do. They found a way to get a win.
Max Vallis cramped up. He comes off. Did they reset the play clock to 40 full seconds? And the clock winds down. The benches will empty. And Jim Mora's UCLA Bruins find a way to get the job done. Mike London, his team put up a valiant effort, but UCLA escapes.
Yeah, UCLA found a way to win. That's what good teams do. And they have their work cut out for them. There's some things that showed up in this game that other teams are going to take advantage of. One in particular is they don't have any speed outside of their receivers. And they have to be able to develop a run game other than their quarterback.
So our final score, UCLA wins at 28-20. Up next, our college football scoreboard show presented by Honda. For Quinn Kesnick, Matt Millen, and our entire crew, I'm Bob Wischusen. So long from Charlottesville. Back to Reese in our ESPN studio.